Welcome to the maiden voyage of the Dr. Doe Show. That's right. Here we talk about everything that makes you want to go do. Actually, we're here to have a lot of fun, and the people that watch us, we hope you have just as much fun as we do. We're going to poke fun at ourselves. We're going to poke fun at other people. We're going to poke. We're going to take a light-hearted and I guess you can say, heavy hitting look at the world as we see it today. As crazy as it is, we already know that it's gotten just about as crazy as it can be. And we also know that we have got to find some way to step back away from the cliff. There's so many people, and so often, right at the moment, that people are just right up there on the edge and they just want to make it worse for themselves. They're practically stepping off. But anyway, that is the focus of this new show, the Dr. Doe Show. And I'm hoping that this becomes a little bit of a hit. It's really not going to be much of any, oh, satire or things like that. It's not going to be one of those things where we're trying our best to belittle anyone. No, we're just here just to have a little fun. That's it. And if we happen to poke fun at a couple of people here and there, and they just happen to get upset about it, well, I mean, come on. What happened to the days when you could actually poke fun at someone and they didn't go berserk and they didn't start, throwing crap on you. They didn't start, you know, vandalizing your house or the front of your business and all those things. Anyway, we'll get to that point. But have you ever noticed just how politicians today, and that's the topic of today, that our Doe show is going to be talking about? That's right, politicians. Those people we love to hate so much that spend so much time on their keisters doing very little and making millions for it. Isn't it funny that someone that gets into a job like that, making 174K a year in their first year, by the time they're done in year number 4, they're millionaires or in some cases billionaires. And then they stay in their office forever. I think there's some politicians up there that have um, reached their expiration date and are probably just being propped up in the chair. And then maybe someone's doing the audible for them. It's a mummy. We got a mummy in Congress. So anyway, but have you ever noticed how politicians, they're a lot like squirrels. You know, they're hoarding their nuts, except the nuts, that taxpayers give them, the taxpayer dollars. It's like they're playing a game of political chess, but the pieces are hard earned. And to be honest with you, it, they live like their lives depend on it. I mean, the pieces themselves are provided by us, and yet, have you noticed that they feel like they need more, and they need more and more of our hard-earned money, the pieces of the chess game? It's really kind of annoying sometimes, but you know what? If you can't laugh at it, you can't laugh at them, who can you laugh at, to be honest? I mean, really. But I mean, right now, though, if you look at it, you know, while our brave military personnel are left in the middle of the lurch, I like to call it, Democrats are playing this game with healthcare, saying, okay, we're not going to go back and talk to you about opening the government until you concede to healthcare, our healthcare demands. And folks, let's be honest with it. I mean, if you don't like it, I understand, but the truth is what it is. I mean, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and poops like a duck, it's a duck. I mean, really. Yeah. Let's see here. Uh, I'm not going to be answering any questions just yet. So, anyway, they're so busy out there trying to score points from their constituents, their pundits, whatever you want to call them. I mean, they're missing the point. They've forgotten who's actual suffering. And I mean, who cares about jobless folks or those at risk of losing their jobs, right? Well, they obviously aren't. I am. I'm very worried about them. The homeless is already out of control as it is, and we're sitting here with military personnel about to become homeless because they want to hold up the pay. Now, here's the thing that we really have to look at. And one of the things that I really, really, really want to drive home, and I mean like a Mack truck through a house. I mean, our military people should not be held ransom because this talking head can't talk to this talking head because these talking heads didn't get what they wanted. I mean, come on. When one side offers what is a rational option to keep government open while they keep negotiating so that our military personnel and even some of our uniformed offices in government, FBI, and all those, some of those are not getting paid. They can't stop working because guess what? They are public service. And so they can't just quit. They don't have the option. But the problem lies here. Okay. They're so constipated by the need and the desire to get all this attention to their side. I mean, they are literally cramming crap down their throat and holding it in. I mean, it's just really that way. Republicans offered a clean draft to keep things running for a little while we negotiate. And no, but no. The Dems want to keep pandering to the so-called majority. Spoiler alert, their majority is about as real as a unicorn in a tutu. I mean, come on. let's be honest about it. So, but meanwhile, the left is so confused that they can't seem to solve a simple math problem, let alone navigate a budget. Trillions of dollars, mind you. But it's like watching a toddler try to drive a Formula One sports car. I mean, come on. It's that bad. Yeah, and they're not making it any worse. They're making people who are already enormously frustrated, even more so frustrated. They're making it to where the people are starting to go crazy. Look what happened to my hair. I was sane a week ago and I had hair. Now look. I mean, don't. I'm in trouble. Anyway, but that's why society is. I mean, we're so convoluted. We are so disconnected. I mean, everything in the isms that could be involved is involved here because they are disconnected from the rest of us. And those of us in society who are rational of mind, body, soul, we try not to get out there and put ourselves on the skyline while the crazy people on the other side of the coin are out there doing whatever they can for that 15 seconds of fame. That's right. those 15 seconds of fame. And they're throwing out nice little isms, like you're a Nazi-ism, you're a racist, blah, 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 blah. Case in point, today I'm watching this video on Fartbook, and lo and behold, and this is in my own state of Oklahoma, by the way. Yeah. By the way, Texas really gave us a whooping last week. And anyway, back to the topic. I'm watching this person at one of the universities here in Oklahoma. These individuals from Turning Point, they're trying to, they're walking around and they're really being respectful. They're not doing anything hateful to anyone. They're just talking, and they're talking about religion. Well, you can't have people talking about religion without somebody becoming unhinged. No, we can't do religion. No way. It ain't happening. So this lady walks up. She grabs their signs, rips them up, and then starts calling them Nazis. They're calling them racist, misogynist, all the, like I said, all the isms that's out there. That's this individual is calling these people. Come on. And the bad part, let me just the bad part is she's doing exactly what the Nazis did back in the day. Okay, they were actually they were silencing people. They were taking people's property and ripping them up. They were doing all this nonsense. And that's what these people are doing. And they're calling the other side Nazis and racist, I mean, come on, people. This is absolutely crazy. And I really try my best not to attack people. But when you do something so stupid that you draw that kind of attention to yourself, I'm sorry. You deserve it. You deserve whatever dope is thrown at you. I mean, that's just the way it is. So, what we're talking about, people being qualified to be where they're at, that kind of makes me think about something that really, really kind of drives the nail home for me. And also gives me another dope to talk about. What about these career politicians who have never had another job before becoming a congressman or a senator or whatever? They're like fish out of the water, especially when it comes to understanding the real world. They have no idea. They live behind guards with guns, even though they hate guns themselves. They live behind walls and all this other stuff. They live in relative ease while everyone else is suffering. Billions upon billions of dollars sitting in their bank account. They don't have to worry about anyone else. They're taken care of. Well, there's a problem. I mean, who needs experience? When you've got a diploma from a diploma mill or a certification to be a bartender, which might have came from a Cracker Jack box. I mean, and speaking of which, have you seen the bartender who's now the shining star of that party? I mean, really, talk about mixed drink of politics and chaos. But it is what it is. And I can laugh about this stuff. I went through 6 years in the Marines, and loved every second of it. And then I went, like I didn't have enough, of that, subjecting myself to abuse, that I went ahead and went into law enforcement and stayed in that for 35 years. Even worse than that, 21 of those years as a chief of police. Can you imagine the stress? Yes, that's right. Three heart attacks and 35 years later, and it's sayonara. And here I am with the lighter side of life, doing don'ts all over the place, having a little fun with it, relaxing, woozah moments, to say the least. And I really, really, really wish people would just get a grip. Everybody is looking so hard for something to be pissed off about. I mean, really. Uh, I'm walking down a sidewalk with my sign that says, I love God. So you're going to march up there, rip my sign up, spit in my face, call me a racist, a bigot, a misogynist, and all this other crap. Man, society is unhinged. What happened was the government ceased all monies for mental health institutions. So they let all the crazy people out in on the streets, and they're not providing any additional care for these people. Nothing worth talking about anyway. I mean, there's the problem. And now the mental illness thing is getting worse and worse and worse because we haven't properly raised this coming generation. Parents didn't do their job. Government got way too involved in the equation. Oh, yeah, way too involved. And so these sniveling, whining little neophytes are running around, acting like they own the world, acting like everyone should be bowing to their backsides. Got news for you. Ain't happening. Not from this guy. Anyway, so back on topic. Here's the hoping that our leaders get their act together. Maybe remember back, when they took an oath. There's something in there in the oath about, uh, performing a job that people put them in there to do and doing the will of the people, not themselves. Um, enemies, foreign, domestic, blah, 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 blah. Okay. They seem to focus a lot on the domestic part and not quite as much on the foreign part. They want to label everyone that disagrees with them as oh, a terrorist. That looked funny. I saw myself in the camera on that one. It's like, damn, my nose got really big here for a second. Anyway, it just astounds me. I really think it's time for us as a nation to step back, take a breath, rub your earlobes, whatever you got to do. All right, deprogram yourself. Get this nonsense out of your head where I have to be offended about everything or I'm not doing my job kind of bullshit. Excuse my language. I'm not supposed to say those things. I'm supposed to be better than that. Oh! Anyway, so this is our maiden voyage for the show. I do encourage people to reach out at any time. No, I'm not going to filter your messages or your chats or anything like that. Not going to do it. Too much of that crap goes on in the political arena. This is an arena where you can talk the talk, walk the walk, and spank the spank. I didn't mean to say that, did I? Left side of me says, well, of course. Right side of me goes, oh, don't do it. So, no, I'm not bipolar. I'm not schizophrenic or anything like that. So, to wind it all down, my friends, stay strong. We're America. We're Americans. We've survived an awful lot in the 250 years or so that we have been a nation. We beat tyranny back with a stick and some, and some rocks. We have been through war after war after war, and for the most part, when we allowed our troops to fight the war, we have won. Now, there's some of those police actions and wars that we'll talk about in another episode. But for the most part, we'll get through all of this. One laugh after another, and one headache at a time. So remember, if you are a politician juggling, it's probably not just for fun. It's practice for when they really have to juggle their multiple jobs and side hustles. Anyway, take care of yourselves. God bless and be safe. And do adios.